The Whiskey Throttle Show, now available on the Spot Network, an independent, standalone streaming platform, live now on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Google Play, Android TV, most smart TVs, and all phones and tablets. Look for future live shows and specials only available on Spot Network. Download the app today on your favorite device.
You always seemed not angry, but what's the word? You
could call it that.
Angry? Okay, we'll just say
you
angry.
could call it that. That was just.
Was that on purpose? I know Hannah liked to hate all the people he raced against, and I feel like you sort of took a little bit of that vibe. Like, it's hard because bottom line, if you're friends with somebody, it's much harder to race them aggressively.
That was my whole thing, and I looked at it as it was a fight, and how could I be best friends with the guy that I was going to fight, and that was what I used for motivation, and I wanted to know that I didn't like him.
Yeah.
And whether it was a mental thing or not, it was just the bottom line. I wanted to hate the guy because whatever it took to win was what I wanted to do, and fortunately, that's the sponsors that I had at the time. They were all good with that, and that was Bob's thing, and I think I took a little of that and a little bit of Ricky, and you kind of turn it into yourself. But it was motivation for me.
Yeah, I just find it interesting. Like if you watch MMA guys, right? They'll come to the weigh-in and they're talking shit, and it's a whole thing, and then they go out and they fight, and then somebody gets knocked out or taps out, and then they get up and they hug, and it's very respectful. And I thought that's pretty cool.
Yeah, see, I don't like that.
How do you fight somebody like that?
Yeah, I don't like that.
I feel like I could race, me and Jake were teammates. I can race him a lot harder than I could race Dunge because I just know him, and I know, I feel like,
yeah, but I would be okay with it.
Yeah, but I'm not blowing him out, but I'm saying racing him really hard. I think
because 9.5 times out of 10, you're beating him. So
in general, though, like racing somebody, I feel like. If you know how like racing Stu, for instance, I didn't know what he was sometimes going to do. I didn't know him very well.
Exactly what you're talking about.
I didn't know, and he was a loose cannon, but even if it was Dunge, I didn't know Dunge. We're not close friends, but we were cordial with each other. But I could race him really hard,
But if you had to stuff him, is there any hesitation if it's Jake or if it's somebody you don't know or don't like?
No.
You're coming in hot. Clean no matter what.
I could run it in on Jake like I could run it in on Dunge or somebody. I think for me.
Well, that feeling of I always thought, and probably a lot of people disagree with this, I wanted to race with the guy how he raced with me. So like me and Stanton, we could race, but I knew what he was going to do, so I could race tighter with him and on his ass and inside outside because I knew what he was going to do. But then somebody like Guy Cooper, no, that was the last guy. When I got to him, I was either going by or I was going the other direction, and I knew when I passed him, I better run like hell because I could get caught up in shrapnel. He could crash over there and I could get something hitting me.
Fork leg.
Right. So you raced guys, and it's like, racing with chicken. I never knew. We had our knockdown, drag out battles, and a lot of it was from anger. A lot of times not thinking it through and just pure anger pouring out. But I didn't always know what he was going to do. I couldn't race tight with him. I knew when I got there I had to keep my distance, or either I had to hit him and knock the hell out of him and keep going, or pick my bike up off the ground.
Yeah.
But Stanton, it was just different. Same with Kurdowski. I could race pretty good with him. He didn't, he would get a little twisted if we got into it or whatnot. But there were certain guys you could race tight with and guys you couldn't. I think it's the very same. It's learning how to race with, man. It's like when you went to Europe. To me, that's half the battle is learning how to race a guy. And if you've never raced him, now you got all these group of guys. You got to figure out how to race them. You can't ride in there tight because you don't know if he's a loose cannon or not.
And you race with somebody long enough here, that we all kind of know our place, and so the beginning of the season, Anaheim won first 3 rounds. Everybody's kind of they're chomping at the bit to get their spot. But then after round 3, 4, 5, okay, they all kind of just fall. All the dominoes fall.
The guys you're gonna have to fight with.
Yep. So and that goes from first to last. They all kind of fall into their spot. Absolutely. Even the guys in 8th to 15th, they're like, well, 15th's trying to beat 8th. Well, that might not happen very, very rarely, but they're all lining up. We're all as equal.
Yeah.
The first 3 rounds.
Thanks for watching the Whiskey Throttle Show. Don't forget to like and subscribe and click the bell to get alerts for all the latest content. Follow us on Twitter at W_Throttle_Show and on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram at Whiskey Throttle Show.